If I got one person interested in watching the game, I did my job. This whole thing, I played to impress people. No, I played because I wanted to win.
Welcome to Versfeld and Hugo Immigration Podcast, where we bring you real stories, real journeys, and real insight into the navigation of the US immigration system. Just a quick note before we begin, every case is different, and while we will be sharing experiences today, this isn't legal advice. It's meant to just educate and encourage and give you a window into what the process can look like. Our guest today has kindly agreed to share his story with full permission, and we're grateful for his willingness to help others who may be walking through a similar path. If you're navigating your own situation, we always recommend that you get specific advice to your case. And remember, the choice of a lawyer is a very important one and should not be solely based on just advertisement. So with that, let's dive into our podcast with Naas Botha, the next chapter. How rugby, family, and opportunity brought a South African legend back to America. Most people know Naas Botha as a rugby legend, a Springbok, a champion, and one of the greatest fly halves to ever have played the game. But today, the conversation isn't about trophies. It's about family. It's about opportunity. And it's about dreams that sometimes takes decades to come to full circles. Years ago, rugby brought Naas and Karen, his wife, to America, and today their children have found some opportunities here of their own. And now a new chapter is beginning, a chapter focused on family, purpose, and helping grow the game of rugby in the United States. And this is the story behind the next chapter. Naas, millions of people know you as the rugby player, but today I want people to get to know you as the husband, the father, the mentor, and the visionary. Welcome to our podcast.
Thanks, Leon. Thanks for the invitation. And absolutely amazing to think we're sitting in Kansas City, of all places, having this discussion.
Yeah, exactly. So, Naas, I think as we get into it, I think I want to start maybe with some of the early years in South Africa. Some of those who may not know you and some of those who do, just tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in South Africa. We'll take it way back when.
I was just your normal kid. Just loved sport. Went through the whole system of playing about all sports. Sometimes did give attention to academics, but that wasn't the biggest worry. It was always about sport. And I went through the whole system of playing baseball, cricket, tennis, rugby.
Hold on a second, you said baseball. Yeah, South Africa is not a baseball kind of country. Where did you get into baseball in South Africa?
Now, in my days, and I know that's many, many years ago, but in my days, we actually played quite a bit of baseball.
Okay.
I was very fortunate that I played in 2 Little League World Championships for South Africa.
Oh.
But those were in Europe.
Okay.
And then the winners, they actually came over to play in America.
Oh, okay.
And we lost both in the finals.
That's interesting.
So, but baseball was actually my first love, to be honest. Rugby was there because my brother played rugby.
Gotcha.
Darius, my brother, was 3 years older. So I just followed. Whatever he did, I actually did. Okay? And in my days, everybody that knows rugby knows about the Bulls. And I played, before they became the Bulls, they were Northern Transvaal. So I played Northern Transvaal Primary School. And then later I played under 15. They had that for 2 years, and then they cancelled that. And then I had Northern Transvaal High School. Then I played under 20. But I also wanted to come and play baseball in America after school. But in those days, nobody actually knew where South Africa was. I think they all found out where South Africa actually is when Nelson Mandela came out of
Sure,
there,
of course,
okay?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then after that, it just sounded too difficult to come to America then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kept on playing rugby, to be honest.
So
and went to university, did physical education.
Where did you go to
psychology.
university?
Pretoria.
That's right. It's Tuks of Nux, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So at least I did my part for the university. And then when I finished that, I had to do my national training. And then after that, got involved with the Dallas Cowboys training camp.
Well, we'll get into that. I want to quickly, maybe just before we get too deep into to the American side of it, baseball is kind of an interesting curveball that you throw here, because I don't think that a lot of South Africans know that of your love for baseball and how much interest you've had in baseball, and the fact that there was actually baseball available in South Africa.
Yeah, it was big then, but we also played. I played baseball and softball.
Gotcha.
Then
okay.
for many years, it actually went very quiet, because I think we all wanted to have, both games, played both games. And I think they split a little bit. And for many years, they did play it, but I can't really say how well. But I just know at one stage, and we actually now part of baseball again. It's like a World Cup.
Okay.
And South Africa is part of the World Cup, okay? Because they actually gave me a signed baseball.
Oh, wonderful.
A couple of years ago, so that was quite nice. But baseball is just, it's for me a true professional sport. And I know a lot of people say, hey, what are you talking about now? Every sport's professional.
Yeah.
I just love the way you have to play 162 games.
162 games, not like the NFL who plays maybe just half of the
at least they get to 20 now.
Okay.
But okay, with the heats they take, 20 might be enough. But
so this may be a very controversial question since you're sitting in Kansas City, but what is your favorite American baseball team?
Since I've been here and you've taken me out to see the Royals play, I'm getting used to the Royals, but I'm actually a Yankee fan.
Yankee fan.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee
Gotcha.
fan.
We won't hold that against him, but a Yankee fan is okay. So what you were saying is that you followed your brother who was in the rugby. You played all kinds of sport, but rugby was kind of where your brother kind of led you to.
Yeah, he also played baseball and softball.
Oh, okay.
Also played provincial baseball.
Okay.
Same as me, provincial softball. But I was just the little brother, just following big brother's boots, and that's it.
Now, for those of you who don't know, in South Africa, we have provinces, very much similar to states that they have over here. And in order to qualify for a national team, you first need to qualify in order to play for the state. So in South Africa in the older days, still pretty much like that. You would become the best rugby player, baseball player in your state, in South Africa provinces. And then out of those province teams, they will then select a national team. And so when Naas was talking about playing for the Northern Transvaal, this is a former province in South Africa, just north of Johannesburg, in the capital of Pretoria, where Naas is from. And this is kind of where the rugby career started, and where he kind of grew into playing for the local team there called the Northern Transvaal rugby team, who turned into currently the Blue Bulls. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So Naas, then pick it up then from where you then played. You played then obviously provincial at a young age, at schools on the Craven Week.
Yeah, and then I went to University of Pretoria.
Which, by the way, just is obviously the best university. That's where I also graduated from.
Absolutely, by far the best university. I know the people in Stellenbosch is going to disagree, but that's their problem. It's not my problem. And then I played my first year out of school. I played University of Pretoria under 20s, and then also Northern Transvaal under 20s. And then New Zealand actually toured in South Africa in 1976. And they wanted to select me for the Barbarian side to play against New Zealand.
Okay.
And then Northern Transvaal or the union decided, no, I'm too young.
Okay.
And I still believe, even today, it was the better decision, because I don't think that I was ready for that. I want to say that quality, not the game, but that high standard of, as a really 19-year-old running around, the big men, if I can call it that way. So, and then the next year I was then still playing under 20. And then the coach of Northern Transvaal came and said to me, he wants to select me for the senior side. And the university team believed that the fly-off that was playing for the university is still their favorite. Okay, so I played actually under 20. Then I played Northern Transvaal, and then I would play under 20 again. Until one day they decided, okay, let's see, maybe we can give him a go, and that's where it all really started.
Great. And so, what was the name of the field that you were the Northern Transvaal's player?
University was LC de Villiers, as you know, and then Loftus is actually Loftus Versfeld, named after somebody in the 30s, okay? And I'm actually talking today to Leon Versfeld.
That's right.
Now, somewhere along the line, if you take, there is some connection, because it's not really that common.
The last name.
Last name, yeah. Like, I know Botha, my last name was in 86. I think we were like the second, third most common.
It's like Smith in America. I mean, everybody is Smith.
But not Versfeld.
Or Johnson.
So there must be a
there's a collateral.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in another chapter. It's kind of a fun story. So Naas, so you've played for Northern Transvaal in South Africa all your life, aside obviously from playing for the national team. You never went on to play for the coast in Cape Town, or for Transvaal, or anybody of that case?
I was playing for Northern Transvaal, and then I just felt at some stage, we're all making decisions, not always the best decisions, but if you can take the consequences, it's fine. Okay. And then I actually, while I was with them, I did try my luck in American football. That's how I ended up.
Gotcha. So tell us about that part. What time of the year did you then come to, and why did you come to? You came to America at some point in time.
Yeah, when we toured New Zealand in 1981, we weren't allowed to go via Australia to New Zealand because of political reasons. So we had to come via America. So we played in Albany, an international against the US.
Albany, New York.
Yeah. We also played in Chicago, and then we went to LA. But in Chicago, a guy walked up to me out of the blue, Leon, and he said, "Would you like to play American football?" I thought, I don't know.
This is when you guys were touring here as the Springbok team?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I just left it there. And then we went to New Zealand. And that was 81, then 82. And then I got tackled in 82, did my ligaments. And I thought, I'm sort of becoming a little bit the punching bag, for anybody outside Pretoria.
Yeah.
Because I was quite loved in Pretoria, I think.
Yeah,
but
I
was
think so too.
very much hated outside Pretoria.
Sure.
Okay. So that was just, that's part of the deal, if we can call it that. And then I thought, and then I phoned the guy and I said, "Can you organize something?" And he said, yeah, I can. And then I flew out end of 82 after my knee operation, and then arrived in Chicago, met Mike Ditko, the coach of the Chicago Bears then, but the field was covered with snow, so no kicking there. Then I went down to Tampa. That coach didn't even know who I was, okay? So that wasn't really well organized. And then I went to Dallas because I had airline ticket that had a couple of stops.
Yeah.
And I got a call from a scout and he said, "Can you kick?" I said, "Yeah, I think I can." And he said, "Okay, come out the next day." And it rained in Dallas that day. Okay. And I kicked at the stadium, the old stadium, and kicked very well. And then they offered me a contract. But then I knew that if I signed that contract, I'm done in rugby. Because rugby in those days was totally an amateur sport.
Gotcha.
And I wasn't allowed to play professional sport and rugby. Okay?
Gotcha.
So now I was pulling the ET, phone home, but nobody answered. So I thought, what the hell, let me just sign. So I just signed the contract. Okay. Then I got back home. And then I went to LA and then I went to Vegas because I had to go and buy Ben Hogan radials, my golf clubs.
Okay, of course. Yeah, this is important.
Yeah. Then the guy said, "Okay, how do you pay?" And I said, "Listen, Cowboys gave me a check." He said, "No, it doesn't work like that in America. You've got to change the check in Texas." And I said, "Oh, it's absolutely impossible. I had like $15. I had another 8 days or 10 days in America. I don't know how I'm going to survive." And he said, "But what kind of check is it?" I said, "No, it's a Dallas Cowboy check." He said, "No, man." I said, "Yeah, look." And then they changed that. So I bought my clubs. Then I went.
It's good for something at least.
Then I went to watch Liberace.
Of course.
Yeah, and the Campbell brothers.
Okay.
And Dolly Parton.
Okay.
So I was there in Las Vegas, really enjoying myself, and then went back home and didn't tell anybody I signed a contract.
So for just in this part of the story, I think it's important to just bring some perspective. So Naas, as he graduated and played for the top provincial team, he was also then selected to play for the South African national team called the Springboks. So if we talk about the Springboks here interchangeably, we're just going to assume that you know that that's the national team. Also, by the way, the back-to-back world champions in rugby. So Naas played for the Springboks, and during that time, it was during the apartheid times where South Africa was limited in their engagement with world rugby and the countries that they played for. So it made it very difficult for a lot of these players to actually play international rugby. And so when he had to go tour all around the world, there were some embargoes on South African rugby being played in certain countries. And we'll get into that a little bit. But I think that just brings some context. And then obviously you played for the Dallas Cowboys. You were kicking for them a little bit. And that's where that kind of ended. Tell us then when things got ready, where these guys are like, where things picked up, where you moved back again.
Yeah, then I played pre-season. My first game actually was against the LA Rams in the Coliseum. That was quite an achievement.
And that's when it was LA Rams. In the meantime, they became the St. Louis Rams, and now they're the LA Rams again.
Again, yeah. But the most interesting aspect of the whole thing is the first game I played, Leon, was the first game I saw live. That's trying to put in perspective. It wasn't a joke. Okay?
Yeah.
It was quite serious. And then we had the game against the Steelers and then they selected the squad and then missed out on that. And then I played for Dallas Harlequins, rugby.
Okay.
And then we won the national championship. The championship in America. Mm-hmm. So that was nice. And then the next year, I went for mini camp with the New England Patriots. But then I also started getting phone calls from South Africa that would I like to return? Mm-hmm. And then I thought, I'm actually a rugby player, to be honest. And then Dr. Craven, he was the president. He was 1937 with the Springboks in New Zealand, actually winning a series in New Zealand, still the only team that could do that. He was the president then, and through the grapevines, he sort of told me that he was going to go to the World Rugby meeting and see if he can change that part of the constitution where they say no rugby player can play American football. Oh. Of course, if you really think about it, not a lot of guys, not even today, actually come and leave rugby to come and play American football.
Sure.
Because you need your 4 years experience at college, and it's like rugby. I played it from age 8. Okay. And now American football is the same, baseball is the same.
Mm-hmm.
Where rugby here, and we might talk about it a little bit later, is the guys also starting a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's the same with American football. So I don't think that they really had an idea why they put it in part of the constitution. Sure. But okay, then they changed that.
Yeah.
And then I was reinstated into rugby in 85.
So how did the experience in America and the NFL and all of that how did you bring that experience back into South African rugby?
I'm going to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
The time with the Cowboys, the experience, just absolutely put me on a total different, I want to say, mental sort of attitude towards the game, a very professional attitude. Mm-hmm. Something that rugby lacked at that stage. Mm-hmm. It was unbelievable to experience professional sport at its best. Mm-hmm. And we all know about the NFL. People will say, yes, basketball, NBA, or the baseball. But I was fortunate enough to experience that. And I still believe that when I went back to South Africa, re-entered rugby, I was mentally a much better, stronger player than I actually was before I actually came to America.
As a result of the NFL influence?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Karen obviously also spent some time in the US.
Yeah.
Karen is a former Olympian.
Yeah.
And she went to Nebraska.
Yeah.
So at what point did your paths cross?
No, many years later.
Oh, many years later.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
So she came here. She actually took me the other day to Lawrence, where she actually jumped the best distance then. So that was quite impressive. I saw the university. They're rebuilding their stadium. Quite impressive. And then years later, we were both invited to do a motivational talk.
Sure.
At a school, and I needed two people to do a little bit of marketing, and they introduced us, and 35 years later.
Wonderful. I mean, those experiences in America shaped her, obviously, independent from how it shaped you. Yeah. So there's the NFL portion of things. What about American culture? Would you say shape?
I think. And that's the thing that we've always wanted to. We always wanted to come back to America because we both love America. And I think it's more the sport because you just get whatever sport you want.
Yeah.
And because she went to the Olympics, so we're very into the track and field side of sport. And then also on the rugby side, the NFL, I've got the whole family into the NFL, even when we were in South Africa, into the baseball. So we're very sport orientated, the whole family. We play golf, as you know, me and the girls. So we just actually, I think sometimes we're a little bit nuts about sport.
Yeah.
But, other people are nuts about other things,
Correct, yes.
Some people are absolutely fantastic professors, doctors, lawyers. Now, we just very into sport, and that's it.
So I'm going to get back to that on how you guys ultimately came back to America and where you're at here today. I just want to linger a little bit for the purpose of some of our listeners and some of our viewers. Just on your extraordinary rugby career in South Africa, not a lot of people know that you are one of a few people who've been inducted in the Rugby World Hall of Fame. What would you say over your rugby career? Playing for the national team was one of the toughest. What was one of the highlights of your career? Maybe just share with some of those guys who don't necessarily know much about rugby and who will be listening, most Americans.
Yeah, in South Africa.
Yeah.
And I was extremely fortunate in my time frame that I played for South Africa and for Northern Transvaal. that I was really surrounded with fantastic players.
Sure.
South Africa at the moment do have so much talent rugby-wise. But I must say in the 80s, I was really surrounded by some of the best players in the world then. I would actually say that, rugby-wise, let's say the Currie Cup, it's like the Super Bowl final.
Sure.
To get a comparison. So I was fortunate, myself and Burger Gelnays, another guy from Northern, we played in 11 finals. Okay. Now that's not very common. Okay. And
11 Super Bowls, the equivalent of 11 Super Bowls.
Yeah, like 11. And then at least I've got 9 medals.
9,
Okay.
That's right.
Out
9
of the 11. Out of the 11. Okay.
It's still more than Tom Brady, I think.
So, yeah, but I won't go there.
Okay.
That's slightly different. Okay.
Sure.
But I mean, that, and then I didn't grow up as a dreamer of playing for the national side, playing for this, playing for that.
Yeah.
I was just playing it. I think my brother had more the attitude. He was asking everyone for his autograph and this and that. I wasn't really into that. I think I just played.
Yeah.
Okay. And then play for your national side. When I realized actually what it's all about, I think that's when reality kicks in. Then you want to play for your national side.
It's an honor.
Yeah. You know, if you think about it, let's say at that stage we were about 45, 50 million people. On a given day, you're one of 15 players playing for your national side.
Yeah. What an honor.
I think it is something very, very
For
special.
sure.
You know?
Absolutely.
How many people would love to do that? I was fortunate to do that, even in difficult political times. Okay?
For sure.
And then just by accident, I became captain. But I never played the game to become captain, to become the best in the world. That's the biggest load of nonsense. You know? Because you can't compare anyone to anyone.
Yeah.
I know media loves it. People want to talk about who's the best, who's this. My attitude absolutely is straightforward. If I got one person interested in watching the game, I did my job. This whole thing, I played to impress people. No, I played because I wanted to win.
That's right.
Okay. And I think maybe sometimes I went a little bit overboard with it, to be honest. But in those days, people need to understand we were isolated. So, you know, the people from Cape Town hated the guys from Pretoria. But I don't mean it in the bad sense.
Sure.
And
big rivalry.
Yeah, big rivalry. Okay.
Yeah.
And they were great, and we were great because in those days, the Western Province, die van Serfontein, you name it,
Karel Du Plessis.
Karel Du Plessis, you just named it.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic players,
Yeah.
as you know. Now I had Burger Gelnays, Johan Hennis, Raymond. Now I can keep going on names on the northern side. So that was the in thing, is to play against each other. And amazingly, when we played for the national side, you wouldn't actually believe we didn't gel like they gel today, because today it's about one thing. It's about the Springboks. We all know that. In those days, it was sometimes a little bit more about the province. But when we got together and we played together, it was amazing how easily everybody just fitted in. No rivalry in the team.
Yeah.
But as soon, if you play each other the next weekend, it's a different ballgame. And I think that's the most amazing part of sport.
Yeah.
If we look at the World Cup soccer that's on at the moment in America, how sport can actually just pull people together.
Yeah.
I still believe South Africa winning the World Cup in '95 saved South Africa of 100%. A lot of trouble.
100%.
Okay. Then we won it in 2007, and now we won 19 and 23. So, that is one game that actually keeps South Africa going. And I can say to you, I had a fantastic time in South Africa. I have no doubt that I don't have a bad word to say about South Africa. I was fortunate enough to be part of the bigger sporting scene in South Africa. And I just had fun, to be honest. And I'm actually look at myself and I think I'm actually extremely blessed for the opportunity to represent my country.
Yeah.
And for the support. Yes, not always nice support.
Yeah.
But there must be something wrong if everybody likes you.
Well, there is that. And the thing is we've had some time to visit a little bit that you've been here in the United States. And what I've found is that there's a driving factor that drives you, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it is about winning. When you win, the people come because people like winners.
Yep.
People don't like winners if you are the opposing team and your team is losing against the winners.
Yeah.
And there is that rivalry between Cape Town or the Western Province and Northern Transvaal, where the people from Western Province hated you because you're a winner and you're going to make sure your team win. But boy, did they love you when you played for the Springboks and the Springboks beat the All Blacks. Boy, did they love it when we get an opportunity to go play some of these international teams, which we're isolated for, and happy to have you on there in order to make that scoreboard keep ticking away. But the other thing that I think you touch on that I think is so remarkable about this sport is the brotherhood. You touch a little bit on the brotherhood that comes from inherently being rugby players. You can go anywhere in the world and you find someone who played rugby, and it's like it's a big fraternity, and these guys will give you their couch in their room to sleep on if you're visiting or just passing through. Guys that will give you the shirt on their back.
Yep.
And it's the same, when we are playing against one another, we may not be friends, but when we're done, we can go have a beer afterwards.
Yeah, but that's the nice thing about sport. And the thing that the big difference for me today with sport now and then is the crossover. The Roger Federers all watching rugby.
Yes.
American football. The Tom Brady's actually watching rugby. But the rugby guys are also watching the NFL and the basketball. So there's that we didn't experience. But I also think social media actually played a major part in this. That's why sometimes I absolutely hate social media. But I think sometimes there is good things coming out of it.
Yeah.
And I love this, that people know, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's because, your tennis world's only this big.
Yeah.
The rugby world's only this big. If you think about it, American football is only this big. But now suddenly the whole world knows about it. The only sport, and I'm absolutely jealous about it, the only sport I still believe that's really an absolute global sport is soccer.
Soccer, for sure, yeah.
I still believe that's where rugby is lacking. We're not a global sport. Yes, tennis is all around the world, but it's actually a small, I want to say a smaller world.
Yeah.
But soccer is just the game of the people. And I think that's the way to sum it up. And I would love to see rugby on that stage.
Yeah.
And it might take a little bit longer, might not be in my time, but I think rugby, through having World Cups now for men and women, I think it's really giving the game an opportunity to go a little bit more global and get into regions that they've never been before. Because I also coach in India, and you can see in Asia, it's getting a lot more attention. But I still believe World Rugby can do a little bit more to actually get the game out there.
So we have talked a little bit about some plans about your next chapter as it relates to rugby in the United States. I think what excites me most is the fact that this move isn't necessarily about slowing down, coming to America for you. It's about building something bigger. So what opportunities do you see here in America? And I mean, how do you believe the United States can become a rugby nation that the world needs to take note of?
I think I would like to start to say, and I did say it a little bit earlier, how much I appreciate for everything that I experienced in South Africa.
For sure.
Then as a family, we decided, let's just go and do something new adventure.
Yeah.
As you say, it's not new beginnings, it's just
The
a
next
new
chapter.
chapter.
Yeah.
And I think what I would like to say, firstly, to Kansas City Blues, for giving me a great opportunity to get involved in the game.
And the Kansas City Blues are the local rugby
The
club.
local rugby side.
Yeah,
Okay. Sorry, I should have actually said that, but
It's okay.
I just anticipate people know that. But it's because we know it.
Yeah.
It's not to say people know it.
Yeah.
So I think they gave me a nice opportunity
Yeah.
to get involved in the game. As you know, I was a little bit involved with the under 18s. And I just love the experience of seeing. But I have to say, in 83, when we won the national championship.
Playing for the Harlequins.
For Dallas Harlequins.
Yep.
We played in a park.
Yep.
When you took me to the first training, they're still in a park.
So rugby hasn't really evolved.
I thought that shouldn't be, life moved on.
Yeah,
You know, it's like 30, 40 years later and we're still in the park. But that's just good fun. But what I would like to say is, I think the Kansas City Blues, the rugby, if I can contribute, if I can contribute to help getting Kansas City, all the clubs, all the schools, whoever is involved in rugby,
Yeah.
all on the same page.
Yeah.
I've learned this in South Africa, okay?
Yeah.
That there's only one team that's the ultimate, and that's your national side. So the US Eagles,
Yeah.
rugby side. That should be the ultimate for every single player. If he starts at 12 or he's 25 or 30.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to work together because the Blues, Kansas City Reds, and all the other clubs, the MLR, they're all stepping stones.
Yeah.
So I would like to see everybody buys into one idea. And that's what Rassie Erasmus actually did in South Africa. He got
The current South African national coach.
He's the national coach. But he got everybody to buy into.
All the local provinces.
Everyone.
Transvaal, Northern
Everyone.
Transvaal, all of these
You
guys.
play, when you start at primary, what's your goal? You want to play for the national side.
Gotcha.
Now, I would like to see it here.
Yeah.
I've seen some fantastic talent already,
Yeah.
but it's a little scattered all over.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, they do have regional sides, but America is also
Very big.
it's very big. and we've been to the nationals the other day, and we had so many chats already.
Yeah.
On there needs to. I don't think new structures. I think there can be some new ideas fitting in.
Yeah.
The
Just
structures.
combining these structures into something stronger.
Get certain levels
Yes.
that a player needs to go through.
Yeah.
Because what do you want? You want your best players
Yeah.
to end up playing for your national side.
Gotcha.
But if you can improve their standard of play with every step, then the coach of the national side, he has an easy job.
Easy job. Exactly.
Because you just give him the talent,
Yeah.
and he just needs to manage the talent
Yeah.
and making sure that. And then, of course, if they start, because in my days, America were very, very good. Then, years later, and I'm not, if I say it, don't mean it bad against somebody else, but they started losing against teams that I thought they will never lose to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
And
just
that was
just
a
a
surprise.
little trivia is that the US is still currently the current gold medalists of rugby 15s when it was played in 1924
4 and 28.
and 28.
Yeah. They won the gold medal.
Nobody knew that America won the last gold medal when rugby was still a thing in the Olympics.
Yeah.
But anyway, but to your point,
So I would like to see everybody working with one goal.
yeah,
How can we take all these little diamonds that we find at
Yes.
school level, then
Yeah.
maybe at college level, then at club level, to a higher level, MLR? Okay, we all know it's a little bit of a iffy. If it works, if it's not, what's the next step? But it doesn't matter. There can be structures really that they put together to make sure at the end, because if you've got 360 million people?
Something along there.
Come on, you have to find 50 good rugby players. I know everybody wants to play football, baseball, ice hockey, basketball. I know that.
Yeah.
But there are players that's not going to make it in there.
Yeah.
And they should actually rethink their whole thing if they really love sport, is to actually consider rugby. Because since I've been here and you took me to, and I can say it now, you took me to a pub to go and watch some international rugby. And there's people that's never seen the game. Never seen the game.
Yeah.
And after the game, their first reaction, oh, this is a lovely game.
Yeah.
I can actually like this. But I would turn the like into say, I would love to see more Americans love the game.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because you can only make a success out of something if you really love it.
Correct. Yeah.
So the youngsters that's playing, we need to make sure they love it.
Yeah.
Okay. And we did experience it during the season where sometimes when you really need some players, there's other things that they feel at that stage might be a little bit more important. Where in South Africa, it's rugby and then the other things. Yeah. Here it's the other things and then it might be rugby.
Yeah.
So hopefully through getting involved in the game with different people, because I've met a fantastic number of people already that's doing fantastic work here. If we can just get all together and everybody work for one goal, and that's to see America being one of the leading countries in world rugby.
I mean, you've seen the talent around here.
Yeah.
You're a sports person yourself. You watch the basketball and ongoing, quite a lot of similarities. You know, you can't knock on the ball. I mean, those guys need to know how to have ball handling skills for as big as they are. You've seen football over. You've experienced playing football yourself. I mean, there's so many great athletes over here. What do you think if we combine all of these top athletes with all of this great facilities that they have in the United States and build a US rugby team? How do you think they will compete with the All Blacks and with the Springboks?
I might even go to say that I think if America can actually sort out all these other aspects outside rugby and combine it, that they might be one of the better teams in world rugby because the potential is there.
Yeah.
It's the mechanics that needs to be put in place to make sure that the talent gets a regular opportunity to play against the better teams. But you need to start winning first before teams like the All Blacks and the Springboks and England are going to take you serious.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, yes, it's good to get opportunities, but it's not good for the game to lose by too many points.
That's right, yeah.
Because you're not building, you know. People always say, and I love this, there's a couple of great sayings. People say, oh, you know, we've lost, but I've learned. I've got a saying, I learn more by winning by 1 point. I don't need to lose to learn.
That's exactly right.
As long as I keep winning, I learn. But don't tell me I need to lose to learn. That's nonsense. Okay. So we need to get America. But,
that's a good catchphrase.
but I must say, I think there's a big will.
Yeah.
Okay. To get it in place, and you know, I don't know enough at the moment to actually give a proper analytical, you know, view on American rugby. But I think that you've asked me, there's definitely the potential. I've seen it on the under 18 level. Now, can you imagine if you have a good under 18 national side? Then you have a good under 20 national side, like New Zealand, South Africa, Australia. Start getting involved in the World Cups of those nations, what it can mean for the Eagles in the long run. Because, and I think and Rassie actually surprised a number of people this year, because he got guys that actually left school last year in their alignment camps. And I think that's absolutely fantastic. Because, I've said to a number of players that played for the under-18s at Kansas City Blues.
Yeah.
Okay, I said, can you imagine that you might be playing for the Eagles in 2 years' time? And I could see in their eyes, they never even thought about it.
Yeah, it was never on their radar.
Not even close.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to get into their minds, is that they should be ready when they leave school and they go to college, or they're going to rugby academies around the world, to make sure that they understand that if they do their part, life is quite fair. And you know that. Whatever you put in, you will get out. If you don't put in anything, you're not going to get anything. But there are players that really put a lot of effort into it. So I would love to see those players develop and get maybe sooner than later an opportunity to be involved in the Eagles sort of camp, start experiencing how it feels to be part of the American team, like Rassie is actually doing in South Africa. He's doing so much great work. And I think a lot of people don't make the mistake, because a number of teams in the world made a mistake. At one stage, everybody wanted to play like the All Blacks, because they were very close to unbeaten at one stage. Okay. Then they wanted to play like South Africa. Then they wanted to play like somebody else. And then Ireland became a fantastic national side. Why? Because they had their own brand of rugby. Okay. France, they were absolutely in and out, in the top and then not. And because they wanted to, and that's only my point of view.
Sure.
I'm not saying I'm absolutely correct, but I felt, because I've analyzed with SuperSport, that's a little bit like ESPN, I was an analyst for rugby for 30 years. So I've seen every great player, from Richie McCaw, Skolberger, Dan Carter, you name them all, Martin Johnson. I've seen them all play and analyze their play. So as soon as a team finds their own identity, now that's what America needs to do. Find your own identity. See what you've got, work with that talent, mold that talent into your brand. But there's a lot of people that trying to follow. Even South Africa, we tried to follow at one stage, and it never worked until we found our own DNA, as they call it in South Africa, and we applied that to our game plan. Then now suddenly we won 2019, 2023 World Cups. And I would actually not go too far into it, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we get another World Cup in 2027. I know it's not going to be easy. No World Cup is easy, but we've just got talent. Coming. And why do you really think South Africa is just producing more and more and more talent? Okay, because the national side's successful.
Exactly.
That's the thing. And we need to assist, okay, America to also become a great nation in rugby, because the potential is here, the players are here, I believe the structures are here. But for argument's sake, and I mentioned it to you the other day, where's your national stadium? Where's your Twickenham? Where's your Merrifield? Where do you go when the Eagles play here? Where?
There is no place that I know of.
You see, it might be small steps in the beginning, but it should be steps in the right direction. You showed me the other day. You took me to actually watch the college final.
The Division 1 college
Berkeley
final.
Against Navy.
Berkeley against Navy,
I don't think they had 2,000 people there.
Shocking.
Now, you have a varsity cup in South Africa, and don't compare, but we can learn. Don't compare. You have a varsity cup, Stellenbosch, Marties, playing University of Pretoria, Turkish. You've got 20,000 people. You've got a high school game in Paul. Paul boys against Paul Gym. You have Afrikaans Hoër office in Pretoria playing against Grey College of Bloemfontein. You get over 20,000 people at the game.
At a high school rugby
At a high school game.
Yeah.
Now, how can you not get 20,000 people at your college game? You see, everything needs to, even your national under 20 tournament, there should be at least 5 to 10,000 people. Then you get your under 20s. Then you get your colleges, as we've seen the other day. Then you get your finals for clubs. There should always be, people should buy into. And maybe that's where we should start. Is getting people that actually don't know about rugby, don't know too much about rugby, actually educate them a little bit. Show them. NFL is great. We're not comparing to NFL. We're just showing another game that they might like. And that's all. You get, Americans love their sport. Let's be honest. They love Olympic Games. They just love, you put it on the table, they will make a success out of it. But it's not always that easy. But if you start winning, people will follow you.
That's right. Well, Naas, I mean, most people spend their lives building a legacy. And you seem to be focusing on investing that legacy into the next generation, where you're at on your next chapter.
Leon, I had my time. I'm done. I was a player. I would call myself, I'm still, give me legal advice here, okay?
Start the clock.
How do you, am I an ex-Springbok or am I just a Springbok? How do you define? You played for your national side. You're a Springbok. What's it? Why do we call ourselves ex-Springboks? Because you're just a Springbok, isn't it? Why do people call you ex? I don't know. We're just Springboks. Or if you played for the Eagles, you're just an Eagle player. You're not an ex, because that means there's something missing. So that's where I want to go. I see myself, I had an unbelievable rugby career. Not always great, don't make a mistake. But if you ask me, am I happy about what I have achieved? I never set out to achieve anything. I just loved playing. I would have been actually one of those guys. I would have played every day if I could. Okay. Now that's what we need to breed here. We need to get these little guys when they start at age 12, age 15, doesn't matter. Get them to get that feel. Like every father and doing the throwing. And you see every house has got a ring basketball. And they're all playing basketball.
That's right.
Now, where do they play their rugby? We play it in the backyard. I haven't seen anyone play in the backyard rugby. That's what you need to. We need to introduce. But, I do understand Americans. Traditionally, it's football, baseball. Okay, we all know that. But I think the sport rugby is attractive enough. It's a lovely sport to play in. But media needs to also stop comparing the whole time.
No, of course.
The other day, I saw another thing. What's the toughest sport, rugby, because you don't have helmets and you don't have pads. The thing is, what people need to understand, there's some hits in American football that you don't get in rugby.
For sure.
And the big difference is because a lot of people ask me in South Africa, what's now the big difference between American football and rugby? In rugby, you can only get tackled
if you have the ball. That's right.
American football, you can get tackled without the ball.
That's right.
Now, you can imagine how sometimes you're in a relaxed mode and then you get hit. Yes, I know you're running to somewhere and you just get hit properly. Now, that's quite dangerous, isn't it?
100%.
Where rugby is, if I have the ball, I actually prepare myself for it.
For impact, yeah, exactly.
Okay, now people will say, yeah, but you never got it. I did got it, okay. And you never passed the ball, yes, but I kicked the ball. But I did something.
I didn't win the games.
I did something, okay. But the answer is, look at the scoreboard.
That's exactly right. Because, we all look back when we won.
Yeah, just look at the score. But that's the big difference. And that's why I say, if I've seen some rugby games, South Africa, New Zealand, South Africa, England, South Africa, France. You've seen them all.
Yeah.
You've been to World Cups or whatever. We've seen fantastic rugby games.
Yeah.
Now, if we can just build on that, I tell you, there's a lot of Americans that would actually love just watching the game.
For sure.
Not to, they don't need to go overboard.
Yeah.
And then the youngsters, because at the end, unfortunately, that's the way you want to look at it, is the mother will decide.
Yeah, of course. That's how
Not
it
the
works.
father. We all think the fathers will decide. No. The mother will decide, will my kid play rugby?
Yeah.
And we need to show them it's a great game for youngsters. The thing is, why I'm a little bit overboard with sport, okay, is that there's nothing in life that teaches you that you can be today a hero. Okay? 7 days later, you lose. Then you're the villain.
That's right.
In 7 days, you can go from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
But you know what? 7 days later, you can go back to the top
To the
again.
hero again. Yeah.
Business can't even work like
That's
that.
right.
Yeah. That's why I think discipline comes through.
Resilience.
Self-belief, resilience. There's so many things that's coming out of sport that actually helps every single kid going through life from sport to business to whatever that they can take from a sport and actually implement it into their whole life.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm a little bit too much into sport, but I've figured out this morning, okay, can you believe it? It was 60 years ago when I played my first game.
Wow.
Played my first game when I was 8.
Wow.
So it's 60 years that I've been in this game.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to be
biased about rugby.
Of course.
We also shared, I think, in the growing opportunities of American rugby that there's a lot of kids here who don't have fathers in the house. And there's that father figure that is missing. The mentorship that we have seen, at least from our short stint here with the Junior Blues, that's something that gravitates, especially moms, gravitates because there's a lack of strong men in this world. Not necessarily in America, but lack of strong men. Rugby is iron sharpens iron. Number one, there's a big brotherhood. There's a big mentorship from everybody. And especially with some of those kids in the inner city community who may not get other opportunities to play or have money to play football that needs a lot of money. The helmet, money for helmet. You need money for pads. Rugby, you don't need a lot of money. It's almost like soccer. You put on your cleats and off you go. But it is that camaraderie and that brotherhood that stays with you forever. Even if you don't on and off the field. And it's that brotherhood that kind of cohesively help men grow to be strong men and strong fathers. That I think is an element that is not always talked about. People talk about what goes on the field, but off the field, I think that is something when you start talking to some guys who played rugby, even in America or anywhere else, that kind of plays a huge value. So what impact would you like to have in rugby in America?
I would like to say that if I can contribute in a way, establishing something like a rugby school of excellence, where you start taking the better talent, not ignoring the other talent, taking the better talent, start working with them, get them to a higher level. That's one. Okay, if I can do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. Secondly, I would like to get, with your assistance, get a structure in place where finances don't determine how far the kid can go in rugby.
It's not a pay-for-play system.
Yeah, there must be a system that we work out. We've been talking about it. We're working on it to actually get to a situation where if you can't afford something, there's the system that will help you, because we can't lose talent because of a money situation.
Because they can't afford it. Yeah.
If I can help just in that area to establish something that we get great coaching, okay, play against better opposition, so the guys getting used to higher quality of rugby. Help a little bit with the rugby intellect, because it's like in American football, you grow up with the game. So you know the angles to run, you know how to defend, you know where there might be a gap. Now that's happening in rugby if you grow up with the game. To get the rugby intellect and decision making at a better level, if I can put it that way. And then get a financial structure in place that will assist the kids. So money will never be determined how far they can go. And then, even if it's in the Midwest, is to get a place where people know, if I go there, it's all about rugby. Because I've seen it all over this place. The sport facilities is absolutely amazing. You go and there's like 16 soccer fields. There's like 10 baseball fields. It's like, where's the rugby fields? In a park?
That's right. Exactly.
Leon, it doesn't make sense. You know, now we must piggyback on somebody else. Yes, maybe for a start we'll do that. Maybe we'll ask very politely to be nice to us, so we can at least get the first steps going. But but the thing is, then everybody here must be on the same page. You know, we can't go with the Kansas City Blues this way, and the next team in Kansas City is going that way, and the college is going this way, and the school. We all need to
cohesively.
Work together. And I think if we can get that, maybe there's a reason for me ending up in Kansas City. Maybe I can help a little bit, you know, to get to get everybody on the same page.
I mean, Naas, I think that, you know, leaving a legacy here in American rugby with someone like yourself, I think is probably that catalyst that I would hope bring all of these little fires together. The little fire that burns over here with the Kansas City Blues, that burns there with the Houston Sables or whatever the case may be, and finding out at least bring some structure on how there could be growth and a structure as to where rugby can grow in America. And so I'm really looking forward to on how all of this stuff is going to play out. And you know, we've got a World Cup coming up. I mean, 2031 is 5 years away, and America's going to host the best teams of rugby in the world, and we hope Kansas City will be one of those venues. But I think we've got 5 years at least to get an act together to see if we can at least make it out of the pools. And
then also, don't discard, in 7 years, it's the Women's World Cup.
That's right. And the Women's World Cup rugby is also coming to the US.
So we need to get the girls into the game. Because that game is growing taking off and growing by the day. So we need to somewhere create a safe haven for them. You know, that they feel comfortable. But they, as I say, they need to start at a point, and that is to maybe understand the game, but to love the game.
Exactly.
Because if you love the game, anything is possible.
Let me pivot to you and your family. Obviously, this was a long decision. This wasn't just something that was done overnight, coming to America from South Africa. You're part of the furniture in South Africa, part of the fabric of the culture over there. So when people think immigration, they oftentimes just think, you know, paperwork and whatever the case may be. Tell us a little bit just about your journey on coming to America and the decisions behind it all. And
okay, I think firstly, the most difficult decision is to go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And,
one.
and everybody in the team needs to.
Everybody. Okay?
Wife for sure.
Yeah. No, but to go. That's
Exactly.
that's the first decision. That's the most difficult one. But when you've made that decision, and the kids also buy into the idea, okay, because we decided as a family,
Yeah.
okay, this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you need patience,
Yeah.
plenty, okay.
Yeah.
And then you need to understand the unknown is quite scary.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
It's not easy. We built this whole life in South Africa, and we were very fortunate, and we enjoyed every single minute.
Yeah.
And I've got absolutely nothing to say bad about South Africa. I just had the best. Okay. So if you get over those little hurdles, I think, Leon, that's the most important thing. Then, and people can ask me and I will tell them straight. You mentioned very early on about get the right lawyer. Okay. They don't need to go and find the right lawyer. They can phone me. I will give him your number. It's very simple. I know we're not busy with marketing.
Sure.
But
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
phone
it.
Leon Versfeld,
Yeah.
and you sort it. Okay, and that's it. And but the thing is, then you arrive, and sometimes you do wake up and think, oh, when are we going home? And then you realize, no, you've made the call. Okay,
That's right.
and that's it. And when you start moving on, and you find your feet, okay. And yes, sometimes it takes maybe a little bit longer than you anticipated. But as I said, through your contacts and Kansas City Blues rugby and getting my foot in the door, and yes, it's going to take a little bit of time.
Sure.
But when we double cross the bridge,
That's right. Like the Irish would you like to say.
then we'll be fine.
Yeah.
And people need to understand that.
Yeah.
But it's to make the decision. I
Of
think
course.
but we were a little bit fortunate because, as you mentioned, Karen studied at Nebraska.
Yeah.
I was in Dallas.
There was
I
some
was-
familiarity, at least already, with the American culture and everything
I
else.
played in
you guys-
Ireland. I played 6 years in Italy.
Exactly.
So it's not a new thing
Yeah.
for us. I think
Yeah.
sometimes if it's new,
Yeah.
it can be actually quite scary.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it shouldn't be,
Yeah.
because life is a mindset.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's a mindset.
Yeah.
I know sometimes people get a little bit irritated with me because they say, how can you just be so positive? And then I ask, but why do you want to be negative?
Exactly.
If negative assisted me to solve something, then I would also be negative.
That's right. That's right.
But that's not going to solve
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Positivity is
Yeah.
going to solve everything.
Yeah.
That's why my call every day is, I'm as positive as I can be.
100%.
And then, yes, of course, you're going to get a hit on the nose, and another one, and
Yeah.
another one.
And so you just
But
stand up.
that's life.
Yeah.
Nobody said life's easy.
No, of course
And
not.
the other thing is, life doesn't owe us anything.
That's right. Yeah.
Make it work.
Yeah.
But who can make it work? You and yourself.
That's right.
And
And,
that's
the catalyst of the opportunities, obviously, that that the girls got over here was kind of like, all right, I think it's time for us to move on to this next chapter to America. I mean, that was great, great timing, for the opportunities that the girls had to come over here and then flourishing over here. And it's like, well, it's not about Naas and Karen anymore. It's now about our family. It's about our girls and where we see them, flourishing.
Yeah, but see, that's what I appreciate. It's not about us anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said earlier on, we had our time.
Yeah.
And we can't complain.
Yeah.
So it's actually, assisting them,
Yeah.
get a nice pathway,
Sure.
get on the right tracks.
Yeah.
Okay. And then just stay on the right tracks.
That's right.
Simple.
Well, I can tell you, America is not is much richer with your rugby talent coming to America and helping us over here with Karen, and the whole family being over here. Naas, and I think every time we do talk about coming to America and that decision and what you meant for South Africa. So you recently had a heartfelt message I think it was in the report that I read it. And one of the things that stood out there was the gratitude that you had for your time in South Africa. What would you like the South Africans to know? I mean, what does South Africa mean to you and your family?
Everything, to be honest, everything. Because whatever we achieved, it was because of people in South Africa.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, Leon, when people leave sometimes, they trying to rectify why.
Yeah.
We're not those kind of people.
Yeah.
We always wanted to come to America.
Yeah.
Seriously, always.
Yeah.
And I think, as I mentioned earlier, sport plays a major part.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know the kids might not always agree, but they believe their dad is on the right track. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was like, I don't want to say somebody forced our hand, but we got some very weird questions about us leaving South Africa, and somebody really tried to make something out of it.
Yeah.
And we just believed, no, there was nothing, absolutely nothing about it. We just wanted a new venture. And yes, a lot of people said, but at your age, how can you? Yeah.
It's all about the goals now.
Yeah, but that's my point.
Yeah.
It's not about us anymore.
Yeah.
We had our times, and yes, we're not going to live forever. Yeah. We all know that. That's the reality. If I do mention it, everybody around me is getting very upset. But that's just the way life is, Yeah. And I think what made it a little bit easier is of my close family, my direct family.
Yeah.
I lost my brother through cancer, my dad and my mom.
Yeah.
Okay. Karen lost her mom, her dad. She still has 2 sisters and a brother in South Africa. But around that family, it made it a lot easier for us.
For sure.
To make those decisions, because I think it would have been slightly different if we still had parents. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
With my brother, I think it, phone call away.
Yeah.
So that's not too difficult. But I mean, it was easy, but that's why I say I've got absolutely nothing to say bad about anybody.
Yeah.
Anything in South Africa. Yes, as I mentioned earlier, not everyone likes you. You know what? Feeling is mutual. Okay? If you don't like me, you give me a reason not to like you.
Yeah.
But that's now tongue in cheek. Okay, that's just a joke. Okay,
yeah.
Please don't take it too serious. But I mean, it's I still have so many fantastic teammates in South Africa, and that you can call any time of the day.
Yeah.
And you will always get support wherever. And a lot of guys actually said, well done.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone wanted to have a say in it. It's,
of course.
I'm a little bit one of those guys. I keep my nose out of other people's business.
And one would hope they would do the same.
We would just hope. But I think we beyond the point of anybody worrying about the Bothas at the moment.
Sure.
That's why we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah.
We've got the Versfelds on this side, we're fine.
The Versfeld from Pretoria and the Versfelds from America.
Yeah.
Well, Naas, thank you, man. Is there anything you would like to say to some of the South Africans? And it's fine if you want to talk Afrikaans, which, it's kind of strange enough. We both first speak Afrikaans as our first language, and you are speaking English to one another. I would say it has actually been pretty good.
It's actually amazing to think, we actually, whenever we sit and talk, we actually always in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
And as soon as you move out of the house, then it's all English.
English, ja.
Ek dink Leon, die belangrikste vir my is om te sê dat jy weet, die tyd wat ons in Suid-Afrika gehad het, was net absolute amazing. And I think almal wat ons ken, weet ons wou lankal.
Ja.
Iets anders te gedoen het.
Ja.
Ek is maar net een van die ouens, ek hou daarvan om iets anders te doen.
Ja.
raak nogal vinnig geïrriteerd as ek
Dieselfde ding moet doen.
Dieselfde ding oor en dit.
Ja.
So en ek dink selfs daai tyd toe ek Amerika toe gekom het, toe is dit so half of jy 'n rebel is.
Ja.
Is nie 'n rebel nie.
Ja.
Weet hier's baie Suid-Afrikaners. Ek het al ongelooflike mense hier ontmoet in Amerika. Wat al 30 jaar hier is, wat al 40 jaar hier is. En al wat hulle te sê het is niemand praat sleg oor Suid-Afrika nie en hulle praat net goed van Amerika. Nou wat ons ervaar het in die 4 maande wat ons hier is, ek kan absoluut nie kla nie. Baie met jou te doen, jou gesindheid en vriendskap, maar ek wil net vir Suid-Afrikaners sê, jy weet wat, net een ding onthou. Suid-Afrika bly een van die beste lande in die wêreld.
Amen. I like it. No, so what I can take away from this conversation is that this isn't just about a story about you leaving, it's a story about continuing.
Ja.
Yeah, it's a journey that has started decades ago. Continuing to invest in your family now, continuing to create opportunities and continuing to grow the game that has given you so much to live and so much of your life. So thank you so much for sharing your story. Naas, it has been my privilege and thank you.
No, thanks, Leon.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If you are considering or at the start of your immigration process, we encourage you to connect with us at versfeldimmigration.com. Your immigration journey starts here.